Senator from Florida.
Mr. President, I would say amen to the comments of the senator from Illinois. Our Democratic whip, he has said on two subjects very eloquently, the subject of opioids and the subject of ripping families apart in immigration, both of which require immediate action. Now, I want to speak on something that requires immediate action because there are 130 million Americans in this country that have a pre-existing condition of which the Affordable Care Act that we passed 7 or 8 years ago guarantees insurance coverage if you have a pre-existing condition. Lo and behold, the Trump administration is trying to rip that out of the Affordable Care Act, the law. 130 million Americans, almost 8 million just in my state of Florida. They want to repeal and kill the Affordable Care Act. Well, this is one way to do it because the Trump administration and congressional Republicans and their allies have repeatedly tried and failed to kill the Affordable Care Act, but now are trying to dismantle it piece by piece by pulling out economic undersupports of the law. And as a result, they successfully did that, attached it to the tax bill that went through, and we're seeing the results of that. The premiums are going up. Now they want to basically kill the bill by saying that insurance companies, it's not a requirement in the law that they cover a pre-existing condition. Let me give you some examples of pre-existing conditions. Alzheimer's, cancer, acne. How about simply being a woman? Let me repeat. Being a woman was a pre-existing condition before these protections were put in law, that an insurance company could not have to cover you and that your rate had to be fair. So, having faced multiple times the Republicans trying to dismantle this law, the Trump administration is now trying administratively and through the courts to take away the health coverage away. In my state of Florida, it's almost 8 million people. So here's what they did. In February, the attorneys general in 20 states, including my state of Florida, filed a lawsuit to attack our nation's health law and all of the key protections that go with it. And that's without any plan to replace it. Just last week, the Department of Justice, that's the U.S. Department of Justice, sided with these states. Our U.S. Department of Justice sided with that state law suit and went into court and told the court to do away the law that bans insurers from charging people more or denying them coverage based on a pre-existing condition. This just seems absolutely inexcusable to me. These attorneys general and the administration now supporting them, if they prevail health insurers across the country will once again be able to charge unlimited premiums for older adults by discriminating against all people with pre-existing conditions. That discrimination by the insurance companies refusing to offer them coverage or charging them exorbitant premiums simply because of what they call a pre-existing condition in their medical history. Now, as people age, they have more maladies, and then most everybody has a pre-existing condition. The law says that you're guaranteed that you can get insurance coverage even in an individual single policy if you have a previous pre-existing condition. And I gave you some examples. Let me repeat them. Cancer, Alzheimer's, maybe just an operation, maybe something like acne. This senator has even seen, as the former insurance commissioner of Florida elected years ago, an insurance company saying a rash is a pre-existing condition and therefore would not insure a person. And then the fact that just being a woman is a pre-existing condition that they would not guarantee coverage just by the fact of being a woman. Well, our constituents deserve better. They deserve the access to health care. They deserve to know that they can go to the doctor without being placed at risk of medical debt or bankruptcy, without putting even more pressure on our communities, hospitals, and those of us with insurance by then, if you don't have that guarantee, what's going to happen? Rates are going to go up. More people that go to the hospital, it's going to be uncompensated care. That's going to cause all the more of our rates to go up. So this lawsuit by these attorneys general is nothing more than another political attack on our nation's health care law. In my state of Florida, Florida's governor and the other 19 states that joined that lawsuit, they are the ones that are behind this, and they need to be held to account that they're trying to get rid of the protections for health insurance if you have a pre-existing condition. It's not enough to say that the Trump administration is taking deliberate steps to make health care more expensive. Now, they're trying to take away one of the most important and popular provisions, the ban that prevents insurance companies from discriminating against people with pre-existing conditions. Why don't we stop these games? Why don't we instead work together? Let's get together in bipartisan agreement and help our constituents to be able to have the health care they need, the insurance protection that they need at an affordable price. Madam President, I yield the floor.